Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our unit on technology today, a favorite subject amongst many of our students. Technology, of course, involves all the machines that we use in our daily lives, but it also talks about different kinds of construction projects that go on in society. And one of those involves building on the sea because, sometimes the land is not enough. Maybe there are too many deserts or there are too many mountains. And we just need more space. So where do we go? We go out to sea, but we want to actually build on the sea. We want to have our structures out there in the ocean, either on it or underneath the waves.
So we're going to talk about some of the technology that makes that happen. Probably the most famous area, because there's a big dispute about who owns the area, is in the South China Sea. Of course, China's been busy extending those islands out there. Sometimes there's not enough soil or dirt, so they ship in all of this dirt and they build it up. And that's one of the places we're talking about. And also, let's see, Singapore. So we're going to get started, as we always do, guys, by reading through our lesson, and then we'll be back to talk about some of these terms.
In Dubai, United Arab Emirates, wealthy visitors can stay at a luxury hotel called Atlantis the Palm. Millions of visitors enter and leave Singapore via Changi Airport. In Hong Kong, children and adults alike have fun at Disneyland. These three places have something in common. They were all built on land that had been reclaimed from the sea. With the world's population continuing to grow, many countries are exploring ways to expand the amount of land they have available for construction. In some cases, this has been going on for a long time. In the Netherlands, for example, people have been draining its coastal marshes for hundreds of years. In addition, land is sometimes reclaimed to provide more space for agriculture. In some areas of China and Japan, areas around lakes and rivers have been transformed into rice paddies and fish ponds. As technology has advanced, the process of reclaiming land has become easier, resulting in the creation of whole islands. However, this has led to geopolitical standoffs. China has created artificial islands in the South China Sea by dumping large amounts of sand onto pre-existing reefs. These give China a stronger foothold on some valuable disputed islands in the region. Even though the Permanent Court of Arbitration has ruled that China has no claim to them, nothing is being done to stop more islands from being created. In addition to political problems, there are environmental downsides to land reclamation. Local marine ecosystems suffer as a result of the process. For instance, it can destroy coral reefs, meaning fish and other sea creatures lose their homes and food sources. Furthermore, buildings on reclaimed land have less stable foundations, and some areas, such as the Palm Jumeirah, on which Atlantis the Palm sits, are actually sinking.
I think the title of the article is interesting. It's Building on the Sea. It went through my mind. I thought, well, why isn't it building in the sea? You're actually on top of the water if you're on the sea. In the sea, you would actually be in the water. I think technology today is pretty amazing. We're actually creating land from areas that were, not places you could even step on and inhabit. So it's kind of amazing what people are doing. Seems like we have enough land already. I'm not sure why we need additional land, but we'll talk about some of these places that are being reclaimed, and also areas where several countries are fighting over certain islands in the sea. So here we've got in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, wealthy visitors can stay at a luxury hotel called Atlantis the Palm. It's kind of an interesting name. Anything in Dubai, to me, seems to be quite expensive. I'd never heard of it's a 7-star hotel until I read some about a hotel in Dubai. They have a lot of money because they have oil there, and so that country's quite wealthy. Now, luxury here, if you say something is luxurious, that's the adjective form of that. It just means there's a lot of elegance convenience, comfort. It probably costs a lot of money. Anytime I see luxury, I think, ooh, that'll cost some bucks, definitely. So this hotel, Atlantis the Palm, which is a weird name, actually. It's very luxurious. It's a luxury hotel, and it costs a lot of money if you want to stay there.
Of course, we all know what luxury cars are. When I was growing up, of course, a Ford or a Chevy were not luxury cars. But if you bought a Lincoln Continental or a Cadillac, those were luxury cars. Here in Taiwan, of course, luxury cars would be what? Lexus, Benz, BMW, etc., etc. Those are luxury cars. But this is a luxury hotel, and I guess it was built on reclaimed land. Now, millions of visitors enter and leave Singapore via Changi Airport. Okay, so there's an example there. Changi Airport is an example of reclaimed land, which we actually mentioned later on in the paragraph. But let's get to it here. We also got Hong Kong. Children and adults alike have fun at Disneyland. If you see the word alike there, that means both. But if you use the word both, then you would have to put it in front of your nouns. Both children and adults have fun at Disneyland. Or you could say children and adults alike. Both of them have fun at Disneyland. Now, these three places have something in common. Why do we mention these three places? What do they have in common? Well, they were all built on land that had been reclaimed from the sea. Reclaimed land, which you see a lot in Hong Kong, of course. The original island of Hong Kong and Tsim Sha Tsui there. None of that is the original coastline that was there hundreds of years ago. Lots of those buildings are built on reclaimed land.
Another example of reclaiming is when you go to another country and you have to pay taxes on the things you buy, and you go through the airport and you get that tax back. That's the VAT tax, VAT tax. You're reclaiming money that you paid previously, so it's yours again. So with the world's population continuing to grow, many countries are exploring ways to expand or enlarge the amount of land they have available for construction. So you can expand your mind by learning more, reading more, talking to interesting people. You can expand an area. That's literal. You're making something bigger. But we also use it figuratively to talk about making something larger that you can't really touch.
Yep, you can expand your business as well. And if you're doing so, we often use the preposition into. Expand into the China market, for example, or you want your business to expand. So they need to expand or increase the amount of land they have available. This is probably true in Hong Kong because it's so small there. And there are mountains right there. So they need more land there to build those skyscrapers. And in some cases, this has been going on for a long time. It's not a new phenomenon. It's been going on for centuries. Let's talk about the example of the Netherlands, which is, of course, Holland. In the Netherlands, for example, people have been draining its coastal marshes for hundreds of years. So here we've got the word drain. That means basically to remove the water from something, cause that water to simply go away, to drain a swimming pool, for example, at the end of the summer.
You can also use drain as a noun. If you ever have your kitchen sink get stopped up or clogged, you'll say the drain is clogged. We need to get a plumber over. Or the drain in your bathroom, those often get clogged or stopped up. Clogged is the official word. So, so a drain can be a noun or a verb. So they're draining these coastal marshes. This makes me think of Florida, actually. Florida has a lot of marshy land where there's a lot of water and grass. You don't want to go over there unless you are with someone who knows the area because there are alligators there too. So they've been trying to drain this land in the Netherlands. If you take a look at the map, you can see why. They have water surrounding them.
Yeah, marsh is kind of like a swamp, but it's land that floods because of the ocean and things like that, so that's the difference. Okay, let's continue now to the next sentence here. It says, in addition, or also, land is sometimes reclaimed to provide more space for agriculture. So, indeed, you might drain those coastal marshes for various reasons. You might build buildings on reclaimed land in Singapore and Hong Kong, but also sometimes the land is reclaimed for more space for agriculture. In other words, you want to grow things. That's what agriculture is. It's all about farming and growing food and producing food for people to eat.
Right. Agriculture, if you study it in school, it also includes the science of the farm animals, like the cows and the pigs and things like that. So if you're studying agriculture, you'll not only study about the crops that we grow, but those animals that are raised on farms, typically to provide food and wool and other products to people. That's agriculture.Yeah, I don't know much about agriculture, but it looks interesting, at least. I don't know if they study it here in the colleges at all, but...
You probably can, but I don't think it would be required.
It's still popular in the States, I know.
Agriculture is important to economies all over the world, but in this particular case, maybe they don't have enough food in some place, so they reclaim the land to provide more space for agriculture, for farming, and in some areas of China and Japan, areas around lakes and rivers have been transformed into rice paddies and fish ponds. So this is an example of this. China is quite crowded, so is Japan, so maybe they just can't grow enough food there, so they reclaim some land around lakes and around rivers, maybe along the riverbank or something like that, so they can grow rice. They make rice paddies. We don't say rice field, we say rice paddy because it can be flooded, and there are like these little walls around them or something. That's why it's called
water stays inside, yeah.
We would say a wheat field or a corn field, but for rice, we would say a rice paddy.
Yeah, we don't drown our plants typically, except for rice. You know, it's kind of beautiful, though, as I'm on a train looking out the windows. There are a lot of rice paddies here in Taiwan.
Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. But the water's quite deep. You can't do that with wheat or corn. It would kill the plant. So rice has its own special name, rice paddy. They also have fish ponds in some of these areas where they're cultivating or manufacturing fish. You know how we have fish farms now. Okay, guys, before we continue on, we have 2 more paragraphs. We're going to take a quick break and listen to our Chinese teacher.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们看的是第4单元。好，今天的节目内容，要看现代科技能够让我们与海争地，可以把这个我们的房子呢盖在海面上，甚至是海底下。好，我们就来看，首先就有几个例子可以让大家参考。也许大家都知道，在阿拉伯联合大公国的杜拜，这里它有一个很有名的豪华酒店，这是例子之一。或者是你在新加坡樟宜国际机场，或者你在香港迪士尼乐园，这3个例子就告诉你，其实说穿了，他们都是一样的，是靠填海而来的，所争取到的土地就盖在这样的土地上。那我们注意到这边说你是填海而来，用到的一个动词 reclaim。我们如果说 claim 是取得声称要到什么东西，那 reclaim 就是表示 retrieve， 也就是说你再去把它要到，重新去得到。那说起来，这种填海而得的土地是好是坏呢？我们这边就要来讨论了。好，下一段就说到With the world's population continuing to grow， 我们知道其实为什么要填海来得到土地去盖建筑物，当然是因为全球人口一直的增加，所以这个 with 这个句型其实就是介系词的 with 在后面加受词，再接下来接受词补语，还说明这个状况随着人口的成长跟增加。那这边的受词后头有一个补语的V-I-N-G continuing， 要记得句构上的要求，这是一个 V-I-N-G， 也就是现在分词。好，那我们知道这个其实也不是新鲜事，因为一直以来大家就会填海造地。举一个例子，就是荷兰，他提到荷兰这边他本来就会用填海然后取得土地，不过我们可能比较不知道，而这边要告诉你的是在中国跟日本这边，其实很多的湖泊也好，河川也好，他们都会被改造成稻田，变成鱼池。注意到这个动词 transform 意思就是变形转换，所以说本来是河流，本来是湖泊，它被变形被转换改变成为什么呢？ Rice paddies， 也就是 稻田 ，fish ponds 也就是鱼池。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We shall now continue with our lesson. Again, we're talking about building on the sea, or maybe building on lakes and rivers like they do in China and Japan. We've been talking about reclaimed land in Singapore and in Hong Kong, and we also talked about draining the marshes in the Netherlands so that they can have some dry land there. Unfortunately for the Netherlands, a lot of it is below sea level, so if that water gets over those dikes, they're in big trouble there. Say goodbye to those windmills and those wooden shoes. But in any case here, let's move on to the next paragraph here. It says, as technology has advanced, the process of reclaiming land has become easier, resulting in the creation of whole islands. So, of course, this technology has improved. It has advanced this method of reclaiming land from the sea and from lakes and from rivers. It has advanced. It has improved. And it's become easier as a result. So now you can actually create whole new islands.
Wow. So that's pretty amazing. However, it says this has led to geopolitical standoffs. Geopolitical means political issues that have to do with land. Geo stands for the land part. So sometimes countries fight over land, who it belongs to, who should it belong to, and sometimes wars start because of that. A standoff means two sides that are battling about something, and they're kind of in a deadlock. A deadlock is also a word you probably don't know, but it's when two sides are equally matched and neither side is winning, and you're kind of stuck in that position. So you have a standoff. We often use that word, guys. On TV news, you'll hear the police, and they have gone to a scene of a crime, and there's somebody holding someone hostage, but there's a standoff, meaning there's no progression being made. There's no progress being made. That hostage is there with the gunman, and the police are there, and no one's moving.
Right, so geopolitical means having to do with geography and politics. This, of course, not only involves the South China Sea, but in other places as well.
Sure.
There's an island, I think, between Korea and Japan where there's a geopolitical standoff there. No, it's Korean. No, it's Japanese. How dare you suggest that?
Yeah.
They're fighting over that. China has created artificial islands in the South China Sea, which I just mentioned there.
Yeah.
Artificial means they're not natural. That's just the opposite of natural and artificial. Your food might have artificial flavorings that were created in a laboratory. They're not natural.
Yeah, there was a bakery here in Taipei that I loved, but they had to close shop, which means they had to shut down business because they said they were using all these natural flavors.
Oh, no.
Turns out they had some artificial flavoring going on. So artificial can also be used to talk about things that are just man-made rather than natural, like some people like artificial leather more than real leather so that they can protect animals. Fake fur, artificial fur, same sort of thing, made by man or woman instead of natural. So if you dump, it says here China's created these islands that are artificial. They're not real. By dumping large amounts of sand onto pre-existing reefs. So you've got reefs there already. Pre-exist means to be there before something else happens. And if you dump, you kind of just put whatever you have on top of something. We use dump a lot to talk about trash. We're going to dump some trash. Or we use it as a noun. I'm going to the garbage dump to put some trash there. My family does that sometimes when we're doing big, say, cleaning projects. We'll take stuff to the dump. But here it's a verb, and it just means you're throwing stuff somewhere. Usually you don't care too much about that stuff you're dumping because you don't treat it very well.
You also hear this word when you talk about certain countries producing large amounts of some product and then they dump it on the market. I think I've been hearing about dumping steel and aluminum on the international market. I'm not going to say by who. There were also cases where I guess someone was dumping microchips on the market as well. But here we're talking about just dumping or disposing of large amounts of sand into those pre-existing reefs. They just bring in a bunch of sand and build up those reefs that are already there. Pre-existing means to pre-exist exist beforehand. Basically, the reefs were already there.
Oh, I also want to mention we have a very big truck that's used for construction. It's called a dump truck. And the back of it just tips and it'll pour out whatever is in the back of that truck, a dump truck. Kids love to play with those when they're small. So these islands give China a stronger foothold or grip or grab on some valuable disputed islands in the region. They're building up these islands on these reefs because there's some other islands in the area that they want. And they're now moving military over to these islands to protect it from some of the other countries that are saying, hey, you shouldn't be over there. What are you doing? If you talk about a foothold in something, it means you just got to start there, but it's a pretty secure start. Maybe your company wants to get a foothold in China. They want to open up business in China. They need a foothold. So it's kind of a secure position that you can then work from there and make more progress in the future.
Yes, and those islands are disputed, which means they're claimed by different people. Vietnam, the Philippines, Taiwan, China, they all claim those islands. So, of course, those islands are disputed. And even though the Permanent Court of Arbitration has ruled that China has no claim to them, nothing is being done to stop more islands from being created. So this is some kind of international court arbitration. That's kind of a legal term. Since your father is a lawyer, I think you're more qualified to define this word arbitration.
Arbitration means you don't go to the court to have something decided. The judge will assign somebody who is a mediator, 中间, and they will sit down with the two sides and they'll hear both sides and they'll decide what's going to happen to your case. So sometimes it's better to go through arbitration than go and have a trial in front of a jury. So that's what that means. So they've got this court of arbitration where two sides sit down and kind of a neutral person, that person who's arbitrating should be neutral. They decide. So they ruled that China has no claim, but nothing's been done to stop islands from being created. Although it's in the news a lot more now that watch what China's doing over there.
That's not going to stop China. They're probably going, what's the Permanent Court of Arbitration? That's nothing. We're China. We've been here for 5,000 years. We know what our territory is, and you guys don't. So buzz off. So that's not stopping them from creating more islands. Now, in the next paragraph here, it says, in addition to political problems, there are environmental downsides to land reclamation. So indeed, here we got downsides. That means a disadvantage or something that's bad about something. The opposite of that is, of course, the upside of something. Now we're talking about the downsides, the disadvantages to land reclamation. It might actually cause some problems.
It might. Yeah, local marine ecosystems suffer as a result of the process. So an ecosystem is the whole area of a place. The animals, the plants, everything is included in that ecosystem. And marine means water. So the marine ecosystems are suffering. What's happening? They're actually having some damage done to them. This can destroy coral reefs. We've been talking about those reefs. Reefs are the bones of sea animals that have kind of been there for hundreds of years. So, and they're beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go scuba diving or, looking at those coral reefs, you'll be sad that we're destroying them, meaning fish and other sea creatures lose their homes and food source. Those reefs also have little animals that live there, and some of the bigger fish, of course, use those animals as food, or those fish as food.
And it will disrupt the food cycle, the food chain, etc., etc., and we can all suffer as a result. Furthermore, or in addition, buildings on reclaimed land have less stable foundations, and some areas, such as the Palm Jumeirah, on which Atlantis the palm sits, are actually sinking. So yes, reclaimed land is not really stable. It's not firm. It's not going to be there forever.
Yeah.
The foundation is just the base of something. So they have less stable foundations, which means they're probably going to be sinking. Just like parts of Taiwan during earthquakes, the land is not stable. The foundations are not stable. So that's why some buildings fall down and others don't during earthquakes.
In our next program, we're going to talk more about the process, how they actually accomplish this. How do they build upon these reefs and how do they reclaim the land? But now, guys, we're going to listen to our Chinese teacher and then we'll be back to say goodbye.
接下来我们来看看，当然现在因为科技的发展，所以说这个填海造地的过程其实很简单，不过它出现了什么问题跟缺失呢？这边有提到2方面的缺失。第一点跟政治有关，它用到了一个字叫 geopolitical。geopolitical 其实这个字啊本来就有2个部分，一个是 geo， 这就是跟 earth 有关所以你看地理是 geography，对不对？这个 geo 跟 earth 相关的意思，而 political 大家知道是政治，所以这个字说起来就是因为地理的因素所造成的有一些政治上的方面。好，当然这是说到政治问题，怎么说呢？他这边就告诉你，像中国，他因为现在呢就把一些原来是 reef， 所谓的 reef 也就是岩礁，而且就是 pre-existing reefs。pre 就是之前，所以我们知道这个字就是原来就存在，之前就存在的这些岩礁上面，它呢加了沙，然后把它盖成了建筑物，变成了一个人工岛。好，那当然这就牵扯到了政治性的问题。果然，当然国际的仲裁法院已经说，中国对这些岛是没有权利的，是没有任何所有权的 has no claim to them。 好，注意到片语，这样子说起来他们不合法，可是其实有没有人去改变停止他们这样的作为呢？目前看起来是没有的。好，我们继续往下看，当然提到政治方面的问题之外，还有另外一方面的问题是在于环境问题，因为这样子填海造地对环境是有不利的影响的，这也就是它的 downside。 好，我们再来看到底有哪些 downside， 有哪些不利因素呢？他举例来说，第一个就是会破坏珊瑚礁。好， coral reef 就是珊瑚礁，那这样子说起来意思是怎样？记住了 coral reefs 后面这个逗点，接下来用了一个字 meaning， 我们知道这是一个分词，当然这个分词意思就是说，原来啊，其实你可以把它写成 which means， 因为提到它破坏珊瑚礁，它到底有什么含义？这个含义就是因为鱼啦，或者是其他的海洋生物就会失去了栖息的家园，还有失去它们食物的来源。这样就知道了，原来这就是环境上的不利因素。好，接下来还有啊，当然我们知道这些所谓的填海造地而来的这种建筑物，如果盖在这样子的地层上，其实稳不稳呢？并不稳固。比如刚刚一开始这段文章提到阿拉伯联合大公国杜拜城里面的这一家有名的旅馆，它呢就是在这样的不平稳的这种土地上，其实它现在正在下沉当中。不过我们要注意到的是文法上面说到这家旅馆它盖在这个岛上面 on which， 为什么要用 on？ 就是因为这个 on 介系词是指它坐落在那个岛上。好咯，我们今天的讲解就到这边结束，我们下次见。
That's it for today, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, but we're not done with this subject yet. We're going to continue with this subject in our next program, so please do join us then. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.